Bit slow to start the day, I'm afraid, but here we are.
Hello.
Yep, it is us two again. Thank you for dropping in, having a look at Beta Youth. Andy's been in charge for a while. We're now back in charge for today. And the church is looking at Psalms over the next 2 weeks. And Carol has several thoughts. Of course, major creativity. Here she is.
Yeah, so we're looking at the Psalms this week, 2 particular Psalms, which Andy and I will read later on from the NIV, from me, and the Good News for Andy. But first of all, let's do a little intro. So the Psalms are written, a lot of them are written by David. And we know that David was a musician. He played the harp. So a lot of them are not just meant to be read, they're also meant to be sung. And I love music. I'm a real, if I feel low, I put music on, and that cheers me up. Or if I feel happy, I put music on, and that gets me going.
Even more.
And dancing around the place. So I love music, and I like to think when I look at the Psalms, some of them they're all different emotions. Some of them are mournful, some of them are sad. So I would think, they'd be done in a minor key. And some of them are very happy and joyful, so there'd be a major key and a thumping tune. And a lot of the Psalms that we know today, translated into English, have also been put to music. Psalm 23, for example, has lots of different versions, different music that's been put to Psalm 23. And I'm sure you've got a favourite. So I've done a little video, which will be shown now, about all the different emotions as well that are often found in the Psalms. I've just done a few. So we'll stop here and show you that video. So for me, the Psalms are also about different emotions. So here we have joy, awe and wonder, love, anger and frustration, and sorrow. So you can have a go at doing those, very easy to make.
So, I hope you enjoyed that as much as Carol enjoyed doing it. I can assure you, she enjoyed all the creativity, all the research, everything. Yeah, she had a buzz doing that. What we've done and what we'd encourage you to do is actually sit down and read the psalm through reasonably slowly. Now, sometimes a verse is going to stand out, so you might dwell on that verse. Hey, Carol, give us a verse.
Okay, so we're looking at Psalm 25 and Psalm 27 in these 2 following weeks, and we're doing an overview all together. So Psalm 25, this is the verse that stands out for me, and it's verse 4, and I'm reading it in the NIV version. Show me your ways, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. For you are God, my Saviour, and my hope is in you all day long. And do you want me to do?
No, that's a verse in Psalm 25, which said, for me, I couldn't get past the first kind of verse, which said.
Well, you should have done yours first, then.
No. Ladies, please, ladies first. To you, O Lord, I offer my prayer.
Andy is reading in the Good News version, so it's slightly different.
Okay, I'll start again. This is the Good News version, different from Carol's version. Anyway, to you, O Lord, I offer my prayer. In you, my God, I trust. Save me from the shame of defeat. Don't let my enemies gloat over me. Defeat does not come to those who trust in you, but to those who are quick to rebel against you. So, okay, highlights. As you read through the psalm, some verses will stand out. Mm-hmm. All right. There are other times, by reading through the psalm in one go, you might get a feel for, just what the psalmist is going through at the moment. There may be emotion. There might be like those little emojis that Carol does. You might get a sense of what's going on there. Now, for me, reading through these two psalms, I got a sense of a roller coaster. There's those moments where, wow, like Carol was talking about, that verse. Just seeing God, who He is, being in that place where He's awesome, where I can completely and totally be overwhelmed in His presence and trust in Him. Mm. And there are other moments where I just look at how erratic, how I'm just not there. I'm a sinner. I get focused on all of the things, the failings that I hate about myself, and I get in there, and you get so it's that roller coaster and I get that sense from the Psalms of how it's going on. Now, one of those roller coaster moments, you all know, for the A-level students, must have been there they are Thursday, getting the results. Whoa. This is their future. For a lot of them, this is going to determine the next 3, 4, 5 years, 6, 7, 8 if they go on medics. They open this envelope, and for some of them, it's a disaster. For some of them, it's whoa, yes, and they immediately phone the uni, and bang, they've got the place they want. For some of them, it's a desert. How, as a believer, trusting in God, you are 18. And you read that in the Psalms. The psalmist was there. Defeat does not come to those who trust in you, but to those who are quick to rebel against you. He's reminding himself, So, Carol talked about trust.
Well, you talked about trust. In you, Lord, my God. In my version, I put my trust. I trust in you. Do not let me put to shame. And I think it's very hard when circumstances don't go our way. It's very hard to trust.
Think of those A-level students. They worked hard. They worked really hard for some of them. Now, I exclude myself from that situation, but they worked really hard. They worked hard for 2 years. They've just really pushed and pushed and pushed. They've been to interviews. They've been, they've gone well beyond what I'd have ever done. Do they trust in that? Do they trust in their teacher grades? Their teachers, all that, you're doing blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're an A-star student. You're gonna walk it. Yes, no problem. Yeah, you'll easily get the results that you want to get into that university, that offer. Do they trust in that? Do they trust in this algorithm, which is supposed to make the standards the same from year to year, from college to college? Do they trust in that? Do they trust that their uni will be fair to them? And if they haven't quite, that the uni is actually going to respond. Now, we all watch the news, and we all watch that the group of students who've just been panned by these results. Some of them lost 2, 3, 4 grades below the teacher assessment. Devastated. And what, they go on the streets? They go on the streets and protest. And there's that moment they showed on telly where those people protesting outside Gavin Williamson's Conservative Club hear the result. The government have changed. They're not going to use the algorithm. They're going to use the teacher assessed grade. Everything is going to change. There's that instant of, oh, yes, yes. But there's also the sense of, well, I've lost that place at uni. Who do we trust in?
But as a Christian, that's where this verse 4 is so precious. Show me your ways, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. Not what we think, but what God thinks. Maybe God changed his plan for the future. Maybe he doesn't want you've got a plan, but maybe God's got a different plan. And I think sometimes we have to trust that God knows what our future holds.
Yeah, this could be funny here, couldn't it? When Carol was starting to date me, did you ever believe that God had got this future? But how do we know? How, for these A-level students, how do you, in the only place you can go? And I think this is what Carol talked about, is encourage, if you've got friends who really like, encourage them to go and read Psalms. Read Psalms.
Yes, it's a really good go-to place if you don't know. If your faith is low and you don't know what to do, the Psalms is a really brilliant place to go to encourage your faith, to encourage you. You know, we were talking about Peter. He was encouraging the Christians who were being persecuted. The Psalms are a brilliant place for us to go as individuals to encourage ourselves. And David's been through all the emotions and feelings that we've had. They just speak into our own feelings and emotions.
At the end of Psalm 27 is another bit that's been put into a song. Some of you probably won't know. A guy called Bryn House recorded it.
It's brilliant. I love it. And I sing it to myself so often because it's such a wonderful verse. And I'm so glad Andy's chosen this verse as well, because it's my go-to verse as well. So go for it, Andy, read it.
So through this roller coaster, through this of all emotions, right at the end of Psalm 27, he comes back to the place where I know that I will live to see the Lord's goodness in this present life. Trust in the Lord. Have faith. Do not despair. In the Lord.
I'm going to read it in my version because this is the bit I know. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. I think that's a good place to end.
I believe. Yes, because I'm starting to sing a song, so it's a
definite. He's not singing. We're not singing, but I will post the song on our WhatsApp group because I think it will encourage you as it encourages us.
And if anything you take away today, just go and sit down and read the Psalms quietly, because you'll get far more out of it than me dribbling on. Maybe Carol's little emojis you'll get, but go and sit down and quietly read them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.